Hey everyone, it's your buddy Crypto Profit back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about AMP and the current price at 0.056. So obviously a little bit above 5 cents right now. We continue to see AMP dropping below that 6-cent range. There is a lot of reasons as to why this is, and the biggest reason is if we take a look at the actual market, we do see a 5.37% decrease overall throughout the entire cryptoverse, and I think this is a big thing to really note. As you know, really Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to drop. We see a 9% decrease in Ethereum and a 5.44% decrease in Bitcoin. We are going to see altcoins struggle. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can see Internet Computer still struggling with an 11% decrease. We have VeChain down 8%, Filecoin down 4%, Tron down 5%, and Solana down 10%. Some big coins, some altcoins like Polkadot down 10% as well. Some huge altcoins are struggling, and AMP is definitely one of those, kind of in the middle of the struggle. So about a 5.83% decrease. It could be much worse. And we're going to talk about why AMP is actually kind of withstanding this better than some altcoins, and really talking about really where we could see AMP in the upcoming future with the bull market part 2 coming. So a lot of us have been kind of discussing where we could see the market going in the upcoming weeks and months ahead, and I think we do see the market kind of struggle, continue in this manipulation FUD or accumulation stage, but AMP itself could have an outburst at some point, and we're going to, like I said, talk about that at the end of the video. So if you guys want to stay up to date with AMP as well as so many other altcoins on the channel, make sure to quickly subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and like the video before we get too far into this video. I do want to say, guys, a 31.42% increase in AMP in the last month is still a drastic increase and making a lot of profit for a lot of people. And let's jump into some of the biggest different, really news sources that have been talking about AMP recently. So on Twitter, we can actually get a brief description of what AMP is. Real quickly, it talks about AMP can collateralize any type of asset transfer, whether digital or physical. Today, AMP is providing the collateral for instant fraud-proof transactions made using more than 25 different digital assets. That's a whole bunch of very solid assets that it is able to really kind of back up and provide that collateral for instant fraud-proof transactions. We're going to jump into the next one. This is one of those big updates that talks about announcing a new market pair for AMP, ETH and AMP, and USDT and AMP on globalbittrex.com. You can actually take advantage of this. So definitely a big deal here. Continuing to get more accessibility for the AMP token is going to continue to grab more retail investors and obviously institutional investor awareness. Jumping into the next tweet, we can see that the Income Payments and Flexa partnership is huge news. Just look at these retailers partnered with Income Payments. So there are some massive retailers here that are currently partnered. If I click on it, I don't think you can see everything, so we will probably keep it like this. But you can see AMC in the top right, obviously Apple, Bed Bath & Beyond, Chick-fil-A, Delta. They have things like Google's, Netflix, Sony, Steam, Starbucks, Panera Bread, Target, Outback, Xbox, Macy's, Disney. So some big names. And I think, a lot of people are not really aware of what this really could mean for AMP in the future of AMP. So that is definitely one of the biggest things and really biggest reasons I'm continuing to be very bullish on AMP. I think the coin already has great utility, has great use cases for it. But, this is definitely, like I said, a big partnership. I do want to talk about AMP in the 9 really things that people don't really know about. So AMP Crypto, 9 things to know about AMP coin as it starts trading on Coinbase. This was an old article, but it still has very valid points, and I want you guys to know about them. So the first thing that crypto investors should know that is AMP is an Ethereum-based token. Obviously, a very kind of obvious coin there, or I guess an obvious, note. We also have it acts as collateral for payments that are made using the Flexa network. This means that if a payment takes too long or fails, AMP collateral can be liquidated to cover the cost. That means that the vendor still gets paid, and it really adds extra security for both buyers and sellers using crypto. AMP boasts that it can really allow for it to cover a large variety of transaction types. That includes digital payments, fiat currency exchange, loan distributions, property sales, and more. There is a fixed supply of AMP tokens in order to reduce the risk of volatility, and AMP already works with a large variety of companies that made use of its services. Among them are Flexa, CoinGecko, Gemini, Sushi Swap, and then obviously Uniswap and many others as well. We've seen some massive increases in AMP just recently, obviously, with Coinbase as well as so many other listings. We have BitMax, I believe, as well. If we take a look at, let's go back and take a look at the AMP Twitter account, we can actually scroll down to these and see that they had the big news, AMP is now available on Coinbase, and then you had a little bit farther down, we had Bitmart.exchange obviously listing, and then, Coinbase Pro as well. We talked about that, and, just some big things in the past, and, we continue to see those big things start to kind of, I guess the hype kind of died down, and, unfortunately with every coin, when there is hype, you are going to see decreases after that hype dies down. So, we made it all the way up to about 11 to 12 cents, and now we're starting to see that continue on the drop down to 5 to 6 cents, where I kind of suggested that, AMP could make its way to before we see some kind of increase again. So do know that this was kind of obvious that this was going to happen based on, every time a coin has hype, there is going to be some kind of drawback. There is going to be some kind of knockdown or, really resistance level that, kind of brings the coin right back down to reality. So that's exactly what we're seeing here at this 5 to 6 cent price point. I do want to talk about a little bit more of AMP's big reasons as why I think AMP is a token of the future, why it's going to continue to stick around. Because if you look at some of the top 25, let's just say we look at this front page, how many of these coins are based on, how many of these coins are based on security and stability of, really providing that, safety or security when sending coins? None of these are, providing that. And I think that's a big deal. And that's why AMP's still on, just the second page right now. It shows that it still has a $2.4 billion market cap, which is still fairly large. And I think we are going to continue to see it above, $2 billion for a little while, as long as the market, doesn't completely crash. I do want to talk a little bit about Kurobo as well, because Kurobo kind of has the same idea or category as a security or safety token, and it's down about 6.5% right now as well. This is definitely a smaller market cap coin. It's ranked 214, and it has a market cap about $163 million. The one thing to note, though, is if we take a look at the 30 days, or really even the 90 days, you can see how much this coin has really come up over the last, I actually clicked on 180. So you can see it's come from 0.008 all the way up to this current 54.8 cents. And I actually talked about that on Twitter as well. If we go to my profile here, we go down, we can actually see that. So I told my silver members and later on everyone so many times to get in at 0.0028, 0.05, 0.08, and 0.12 and more. So now Kurobo at the big 50 cents. If you want these types of calls, pay attention and follow closely, but not blindly. So 17,757% increase. Obviously a massive increase. And I think, just crazy to see these kind of possibilities out there still today, even during this kind of a market. And, it just shows that the really safety and security sector of crypto is still very, very new and still falling short a little bit. And I think we are going to see some of these coins continue to rise as that category continues to increase in favor. A lot of people understand the safety and security side of things is a big deal. Definitely when people are throwing around millions of dollars, you want to have some kind of safety net or some kind of security when you're doing so. So it talks about the stake, send, and repeat. We're not going to jump through all of this because, I know we like to keep these videos short and sweet between that 6 to 10 minute mark. And I think, realistically, we can jump now to price predictions. But, one thing to note is, some of the partnerships here. So Flexa, Gemini, Coinbase, Bittrex, Poloniex, Uniswap, just big names. Obviously, Chainlink, CoinGecko, Zapper, and like I said, so many big names there. And I do want to, like I said, jump back to that price prediction now chart. And let's give it a quick refresh, see where we're at. 6.66% decrease right now. So I did suggest that we were going to drop down to about a 5 to 6 cent range, just because I did think we had a lot of hype built up. And every time, like I said, you have hype built up, it does come back down. So that is exactly what we're seeing here. This really hype dying down a little bit, and now we're finding our exact footing and hopefully finding a good stable spot for AMP to actually last for a while we get through this manipulation FUD accumulation stage and then get back on that train to bull market part 2. I will say, guys, I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research before investing, but talking about price predictions for AMP, I do think by the end of the bull market or by the end of the year, if we get into, really that bull market part 2, let's just say late September at the earliest, I do expect AMP to actually push back up to its previous all-time high around 12 to 13 cents. If we look at the actual last year alone, all-time alone, we do see that, this coin came from pretty much nothing later in 2020 or earlier in 2020. So it's crazy to see this kind of an increase, and I do think we have a lot of an increase left. I think there's, $2.4 billion in this market cap, and I think this kind of category is going to continue to grow through, crypto really mass adoption. I think people are going to understand that there is a very big need for safety and security when, transferring funds, and I think because of that, I think AMP's going to continue to increase. I think we will see AMP pushing closer and closer to about a 30 to 40 cent mark by the end of the year, at the very, very least by the end of the bull market. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is just my price prediction on AMP, my thoughts on AMP, and I kind of wanted to give you guys really an example of why I think AMP is huge, and that's exactly why I kind of mentioned Kurobo a little bit, because that's a coin we've been following a lot on the channel as well. I do want to talk a little bit more about my actual Twitter here. So if we go to my Twitter, if you guys can do the same thing, go into the description of my video and actually follow me on Twitter. I do have a giveaway going on right now. It actually ends July 10th. If I can find the tweet here, I think it's a little bit farther back here because I tweeted it out June 8th, so it's been about a month. So we'd have about 700 retweets right now, and I want to give you guys that are staying to the end of the videos a great chance to actually, go into this video or go into this tweet, retweet this tweet, follow me on Twitter. It'll give you a chance or an opportunity at 2K. Really 2K worth of tokens. So we have 1K worth of Jax tokens and 1K worth of same coin tokens. There will be 2 lucky winners. So it actually ends July 10th, 2021. So all you have to do, like I said, retweet the tweet, follow me on Twitter. Link for my Twitter is actually in the description below, so make sure to take advantage of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As we get closer and closer to 100K subscribers, you guys are the reason that crypto is so fun for me. So thank you guys again. Like I said, I'll see you guys all in the next one.